Sleep deprived, let's go. Oh, we're open. She's a champion. All right, Dylan. This is a supplement bag. Has supplements in it. You want to know what else is in there? Nothing. It's just supplements. Oh, I lied. I also have headphones in here. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of random supplements. Here's something with some real value. I do like ketones. Before I podcast and work out. And I'm going back to selling supplements. But I do like them. They're good for, I feel sharper on them. And then in here, typically I'll drink water when I work out, but sometimes I'll have coconut water. I love coconut water for like intra workout carbs. My workouts don't typically need intra workout carbs, but I was sleep deprived last night, or sleep deprived this morning. I felt like it might help me feel a little better while we're training. So there's a couple kinds of workouts that I love. There's like two styles of workouts. And then there's the workouts I don't like too much. The ones I don't like too much are mobility, athletic performance. Like, they're just not fun for me. I know I got to do them, but they're not fun. But there's two styles of workouts I love, and I can stay in either one for a long time, but they both have their negatives, right? Bodybuilding, that's like, you know, getting a pump, sculpting the body. Bodybuilding, super fun. Downside to it, I lose functional mobility. I can get kind of one-track minded. I like the way it makes me look. I like the pumps, but it doesn't help me move better. Okay. Then I also like the strength-based kind of workouts. It could be powerlifting. It could be strongman-ish. I say ish because the more functional strongman stuff I won't do. But I also like to feel strong, to lift heavy things. So today is going to be that. So last time you saw me do bodybuilding kind of style workout. Today we're going to do kind of a, strength-based, get after it kind of workout. Now, the benefit of that is I feel solid. For most people, it's going to really have a lot of awesome carryover. I don't get a lot of benefit anymore because I've been working out for so long that if I gain any more strength, the risk versus reward doesn't make sense. So injury risk for me the risk is too high. But I'm going to do one today. Sleep deprived, which you shouldn't do. And I want to say this real quick. I've said this about trainers before. We're really good at training other people. Terrible at training ourselves. I am the king of that. I'm great. You get me on the podcast talking to somebody, I'm great. I'll tell you exactly what needs to happen, and I mean it, and I love you. And then when it comes to me, turn it off, and then I'm stupid again. So 400 milligrams of caffeine later. I'll pay for this later today. Here's what's going to happen later. Is I'm all jacked on caffeine and what else stimulants that are in whatever I just took. And I'm going to work out. And then later, I'm going to crash. And I have to take a nap on the couch. This weight belt I've had for not a long time, maybe 15 years. I used to have a weight belt I had since I was 16, and I gave it to a client of mine. His name was Jim. He was 68, 67-year-old client, one of the fittest dudes I ever worked with, and I just love the guy, and I gave it to him. It was like this old blue battered belt. It had superpowers, I think. Hey guys, the response to this series has been so encouraging. It's been a very challenging but rewarding one. A lot of people behind the scenes. I got Dylan holding the camera here. We have people editing. There are a lot of people here that work at Mind Pump. There are sponsors that make this happen. They pay us so we can make these things happen and pay our employees. And one of them is Bioptimizers. We've been with them for a long time. They make Masszymes. These are digestive enzymes. They're really good for people who eat a high protein diet in particular to help break down your food and get that food to your muscles, improve your digestion. There's a couple others that are also sponsoring the series. I'll walk over here and show you. By the way, of course, we only work with companies we actually would use. There's Dose, which is really fascinating. This one is to lower cholesterol. They have one that's also good for liver support. So I've been using this on a daily basis for health. And then Ketone IQ, This will instantly raise the ketone levels in your blood for sharpness, cognitive function. Using this before hard workouts has been pretty awesome. I like them. So again, I'd appreciate the support. It allows us to continue doing this, and it helps pay for people's salaries like Dylan behind the camera. All right, where's my trap bar? We're gonna start with trap bar farmer walks. I think heavy walks are super valuable, super valuable. It strengthens everything. Yeah, it's not isolating a body part, but you get good at these. You'll feel the posture of your chain, your hands, everything. That's another thing. I talk about this on the show. There's an epidemic of jacked dudes with weak hands. If you're jacked and your hands are weak, you're weak. My infatuation with grip strength, actually, all joking aside, started when I was a kid. My dad has some of the strongest hands till this day that I've ever seen. I'll tell you a story. When he was in his, I want to say his 50s, he came to jiu-jitsu with me. So I did jiu-jitsu in my 20s. And he was a judo guy when he was a kid, but didn't do judo or anything else for a long time. Started coming to jiu-jitsu, and we'd have open mat. So open mat is when everybody gets together and just practices together. There's no instruction. It's not a normal class. It's just everybody has a good time. People were practicing stand-up. So stand-up in jiu-jitsu just means takedowns. So my dad's there, and my dad's like, let's see, he's 5'9", 5'10", 180 pounds. Not a huge guy. So he's there, and everybody's practicing takedowns. And he's a judo background, so he's pretty good, but he's also, like I said, incredibly strong. Anyway, this big dude, ex-Canadian pro football player. If you're watching, you know who you are. Big dude, like 330-pound dude who could do cartwheels and backflips, and new guy though. And he pointed to my dad. He goes, "Hey, I heard you got, judo. Will you go against me?" So they start going, and this guy's obviously twice as big and strong. And he's having trouble taking my dad down because my dad's got a judo background. No gi, right? No gi, so they're just wearing rash guard. Well, anyway, they break apart. By this time, a lot of the guys in the gym were watching. And they break apart like this, and they both reach forward like this. And so the guy goes like this to my dad. And so my dad grabs his fingers and cranks his hand down. And the guy tapped out. Ah. And everybody was dying of laughter. And he's like, "How did you do that, man? You got old man strength." I also like old feats of strength. So I learned how to tear a phone book in half when I was maybe 17. But I also noticed just when my hands are strong, this is just true too. Everything else benefits, even pressing. So farmer walks, gonna give your hands a good workout. Why do I wear a belt? Because I started wearing one when I was 16. I don't want to take the time to train my body to get used to not wearing one when I deadlift heavy. So after I get to 300 to 400 pounds, this is like 365. I don't know how much it is. I think like 365. I start to wear a belt. But if you never train with a belt, don't train with one. That's for kids, Dylan. I think we need to add weight. We got to get more of these metal plates. These bumper ones are annoying. Yeah, like I can't even fit them. Let's see. So that works? No. Let's see. What am I gonna do? We're gonna try it. If you want to see me do farmer walks with 5 plates, comment, buy some metal plates, Adam. This. That's like 3 plates right there. There it is. Good to see you, my friend.
You too.
It doesn't fit any more weight, dude. You know why? We got them big baby bumper plates, dude.
We'll get a bigger one for you.
You gotta tell my partners. They never lift more than that anyway, that's why. One of the cool things about my my friendship with my partners, Adam, Justin, and Doug, is we rip each other. Like, I mean, it's no holds barred. Like, we rip each other. And the harder we rip each other, the more joy it brings all of us. Nobody gets their feelings hurt. The guy behind the camera, Dylan, right now knows, because he's one of our producers. So he's in the studio when the cameras are off, and he hears us, and we go hard, and we love it. So, but that doesn't mean there isn't some truth in what I'm saying. My partners won't lift that much. Justin's pretty strong, but this is deadlifting, Justin. This is like just picking something up, you know what I mean? And Adam could go pretty far. He doesn't care anymore. He's just happy with being handsome and rich. He doesn't want to be jacked anymore. That's fine. All right, let's talk about strength. When you look at the data on the health benefits of muscle, and you look at the data on the health benefits of strength, the stronger correlate, or to put it differently, the greater predictor of health is strength. The reason why muscle is a good predictor of health is probably, well, it is connected to its function, not just that you have the muscle. In other words, strength is a better predictor. And there's a place I'm going with this, but just bear with me. You can go extreme with anything, right? So this doesn't mean that you're going to get never-ending benefits to getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Once you get to a certain point, you get diminishing returns, and then you start to sacrifice health and longevity. So you look at like a top strength athlete, that's no longer healthy. Now it's just performance, right? So you start to move out of that. But for most people, average person, like, get strong. That's gonna get you the health. The muscle that follows is great too, but it's really about the strength. All right, here's the connection. We're seeing these studies come out with myostatin and activin A inhibitors. The reason why these are gaining traction, because they've been around for a little while, is because GLP-1s are such a big thing. But one of the side effects of GLP-1 use, not because the GLP-1 causes this, but rather because of the dramatic reduction in appetite, thus causing reduced caloric intake. One of the side effects of just eating less and not strength training, not eating enough protein, is you lose muscle, right? That's how the body adapts. So, of course, the pharmaceutical industry is like, instead of telling people to lift weights and eat more protein, and there's two reasons why they don't focus on that. One is adherence. People don't like to change lifestyle. I get that. The other one is they can't sell that, right? So there's two motivating factors. So they're like, let's put some time, energy, and research into muscle building compounds, non-hormonal ones. Myostatin, when you inhibit it, it's like the brakes to muscle growth. When you take the brakes off, your body just builds muscle, and it is powerful. Based on the studies I've seen, it's like, it would make like steroids seem like vitamin C in comparison. It's ridiculous. Now here's the drawback. It isn't functional, strong muscle. It's just muscle. It's more like just being big and heavy. In other words, I don't think it's exactly this way, but the way Dr. Seeds explained it, it's like it'd be like a jacked person with health that mirrored an obese person. So like big useless muscles, which is weird. Now you know what's going to happen if that all becomes available to the public. They don't care. I don't think the average person cares how healthy they are so long as they look good. I don't think I need to make that argument. So it's going to be really weird if these substances become legalized and combined with GLP-1s. What we may have is a bunch of lean, jacked, obese people, like they're wearing muscle suits. That's weird. That's really weird. These kind of workouts don't really give you a pump. They do feed the ego nonetheless. We're only gonna do a couple sets of that because I haven't deadlifted in months. And what's weird is that, because I did it for that was like an exercise I focused on for so long. I can almost always pick up 500 pounds off the floor, but because I haven't been training it, this isn't 500 pounds, by the way. This is like I don't know what this is, 430 something. But injury risk is high, so I'm not trying to hurt myself. Yeah, next week we're gonna meet up. Oh, that's what I should talk about. I'm gonna be including other people in this series who I think will be valuable, who also wrestle with this. So next week, I'm gonna do a workout with my friend Johnny Sebastian. He's a professional IFBB pro bodybuilder. I said professional twice. He's a pro bodybuilder. Been competing for a while. Known him for a long time. He actually worked for me as a trainer 26 years ago. And we've always stayed in contact somewhat. And he's a smart dude, good dad. I love him. He's also on this faith journey. So he's wrestling with a lot of the same stuff with fitness. I can't imagine what it's like for him. I mean, he's a pro bodybuilder, so it's like his identity is even more wrapped in all this. And then I'm gonna try and get my friend Dennis Roberts on, world-class jiu-jitsu fighter, like world-class. Also, MMA he did for a little while. Great guy, cool story, how we got really connected, him and I. But he also wrestles with a lot of this. Now it's not, his is more performance-based, and he's had some injuries as a result of just ignoring things and pushing forward. So we're gonna have him, I'm gonna try and get him on. I'm gonna have my buddy Chuck on. Chuck is a pastor at the church I go to. He also works out. He was the first guy from my church that really befriended me. And I love Chuck. He's a good shepherd. What we're gonna do next is some speed pull-ups. So speed pull-ups are like, well, it's like an explosive pull-up. Looks like Marcelo opened up a portal over there. Yeah, red light therapy. Bro, you're like 20-something years old. What are you doing? Your face is good. No, it's good. Let me see. Do I want to go here? I'll go here. Man, I'm slow. I haven't done those in a while. The idea is to, contrary to what you just saw, is to do an explosive, positive portion of the rep. I try to hop off the bar. So try to come off the bar. I haven't done those in 10 years, at least. I've just done the controlled version of pull-ups, and I could tell. Because I can do a lot of pull-ups, I'm pretty strong. I can pull myself plus a 80-pound dumbbell. But I'm not fast, that's weird. I felt slow. The idea is not to do those to fatigue. If you start to feel fatigued, you lose your speed. Now you're just doing pull-ups, which is fine, but that's not what I'm after. So we're gonna wait. I'll do it again. I've said this on the podcast, but if you wanna be fit and healthy, you're going to live differently than the rest of the world. The default is poor health, obesity, chronic disease. So you'll never really fit in, okay? Well, it's weird. Again, I didn't know any of this before, but when I became a Christian, Jesus says this. He says literally, you are not gonna be of this world. In fact, if you love the world, you can't love me, is what he says. And what that feels like is, this is why, you know, I'm really, really grateful for my church. You know, my Christian friends, brothers, sisters, because you start to feel more and more like an outsider, and it's really weird. It's like if you live like the rest of the world, you will be spiritually sick. You will be. That's the default. What does that look like? Anxiety, depression, lack of purpose, chasing worldly things, money, pleasure, power, fame. So if you want to be spiritually healthy, just like if you want to be physically healthy or mentally healthy, you have to be different. That's a crazy thing to get. It's also, I think, reassuring, because for people on a fitness journey, it's like, that's what it's going to feel like. You know, you're going to go out with your friends, you're going to hang out places, and you're just going to be different most of the time. That doesn't mean you should be stressed about it or whatever, but you're going to be different. Same thing is true for spiritual health, for sure. Probably more so. Those are the slowest explosive pull-ups you've ever seen. Oh, wow. That's a great idea. Typically, that's what I do, is I'll read scripture between. I'll share with you some of the most impactful scripture for me. So this is my 2 Corinthians 12, 7, 10. It's my screensaver. It's a letter to the Corinthians from, well, Paul wrote this, and it says, "Therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan, to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me, but he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong.'" That one right there is, I have that because I don't like to feel incapable or weak. And here's Paul, who walked with Jesus, saw him die and saw him come back to life, who wrote most of the New Testament. And that's what he said. That's what he experienced. So it's good stuff. Again, slow, fast pull-ups. I'm gonna do some shrugs, and then I think we'll do some, maybe some bench press. I got another good one. This one's Romans 7, 15 to 20. Again, Paul. And this one's super powerful. It says, "I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree with the law is good. As it is no longer myself who do it, but it is sin living in me. For I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that is, in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing. Now if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it." This is crazy because, so this is great for Christians, because the journey of following Christ is like constant humbling. It's like you're convicted, you feel, but you screw up. And that's why his grace is so incredible. And what's cool about this is Paul, who again, he walked with Jesus. And he's like, I do all this stuff I don't want to do. And it's hard, and I can't do what I want to do. So like if he struggles, he walked with Jesus, like in the flesh, like be easy on yourself, basically. And I got to say, sleep deprived. I took 2 of those Ketone IQ bottles. Man, it makes a big difference. At the moment, I don't feel sleep deprived, which is wild because I am. So I'm going to do some heavy bench press. I have to do this because I was talking crap about deadlifts to Justin, and now I'm going to do an exercise that he will embarrass me in, which is bench press. That guy can press a house. You know, the other day when I lied to my wife and then told her the truth the day after, and she gave me grace, and then I was just repenting to God. The times I felt closest to God is after I make a huge mistake and I repent. How weird is that? That's when I feel closest to him. It's whenever I screw up and I know it, and I know I turned away from him. I repent, and then I feel incredible grace, and I feel closest to him when that happens. That's just wild. After this set, this is gonna serve as another warm-up. I don't know if we have chains here. We used to. I'm gonna check and see if we have chains, because I'd like to use chains. Oh, look what we have, Dylan. Chains. Why chains? Well, I'll show you. So when you put chains on the bar, obviously there's weight to these chains. I don't know how much these weigh. This feels like 20 pounds, I guess. I'm guessing, no idea. What we do is we attach the chains to the bar, and when I go to press it, as I lower, the chains hit the ground, therefore the weight gets lighter. When I lift it, chains come off the floor and the weight gets heavier. So it's progressive resistance. Almost everybody is weaker at the bottom than they are at the top. So the weight is lighter and then gets heavier. This is a favorite training tool for powerlifters. I mean, if you want to get strong in a hurry and you've already been doing the basics, like bands are great too. Chains are also great. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna do some pause benching. So pausing adds an isometric component, and it'll help develop strength in areas like sticking points, right? So I'm gonna pause at the bottom with the bench press. I'm also gonna go a little lighter while I do this because I wanna really emphasize the pause. And I haven't really benched heavy in a while, so I'll take off a little bit. I did jujitsu for 6 years. It was enough to take me away from this dysfunctional relationship, but if I don't change my heart posture, then what'll happen, I know this, what'll happen with jujitsu is I'm just gonna become ultra competitive, and it'll be about that, not about doing it for his glory. Like, what does that mean, right? What does that mean, doing it for his glory? That's a good question. That's what I'm gonna ask Chuck when we see him. But what I think it might mean is, does it help me do the things that he wants me to do better? Be a good father, be a good husband, run a business that is honest, that helps others. Does it give me the energy and the health and the vitality that I need to do those things? And then also, because I teach this, does it help me encourage and help others in ways that honor God, real ways, true ways, good ways? You know, just again, it's just to highlight his mercy, as dysfunctional as I could be with this, it has allowed me, and I'm not saying this is me, this is not me, this is him, but what it has done is it has allowed me to communicate to people who struggle with body dysmorphia, challenges with eating, addiction to exercise. It's enabled me to communicate with them in ways that seem to be effective, mainly because I understand where they're coming from. So I have like the empathy, like I get it. I really get it. So with those, the pause was like 5 or 6 seconds. You're not resting it on your chest. It's on your chest, but you're maintaining tension and building tension in that bottom position. What I'm gonna do next is an overhead press, but what I'm gonna do really is an overhead hold. I'm gonna try and build that isometric top position strength, which I haven't done in a long time. Justin got me into it a while ago, and man, does it feel good. And the other reason I'm not doing like full-on shoulders is because Tuesday at 6:30 in the morning, I'm gonna do a workout with Johnny Sebastian. Oh, actually, we're doing back and bicep. Doesn't matter. If I hammer myself too much, I'm gonna get destroyed working out with a pro bodybuilder. So, and I'm gonna follow his workout because I don't want to mess up his prep. He's getting ready to compete. So, let me see if I'm gonna hit this thing here. That looks boring, right? That's why isometrics aren't necessarily popular. They don't look so cool, but they're awesome. In fact, the fastest strength gains you'll ever see in your life are if you practice isometrics. That's proven. Now, isometrics, the strength gains go up quickly and then they plateau quickly. So it's not like the be all end all. But that being said, like, do a 2 or 3 week or 4 week, maybe 6 week course of like isometrics, watch your strength explode. It's rad. So when I'm doing this, I'm pressing up. And then when I get to the top, I'm trying to get my scapula in position, brace my core, keep your arms locked out, and just try to stay stable. I think I held it for like 15, 16 seconds last time. I'm aiming for maybe 10, I don't know, we'll see. Those ketones are made me feel like I'm not sleep deprived, really crazy. Because I know I am. This is where I start to nerd out and stuff like that. But it literally feels like I'm not sleep deprived, which I know I am for sure. I probably got 5 hours of sleep last night. Ketones are a fast, easy source of energy for the body, especially the brain. It's like instant brain energy. And when you're sleep deprived, it's your brain that's not functioning well. It's your central nervous system. So it would make sense. I took 2 of them. I took one at it was like 6:20, and then I took another one when we got here like 7:20 or 7 a.m. I'm gonna do a little bit of arms because I always do little arms. I used to measure my arms when I was a kid. I say used to, like I still don't, but anyway, I used to a lot when I was a kid. And I remember when I was 14, I started lifting weights and I got my arms up to 14. Then when I was 15, I got my arms up to 15. Then when I was 16, I got up to 16 inches and I'm like, I'm gonna keep my arm size matching my age for as long as I can. That was the goal. I did for a little bit until I got to about 18 and that was it. But I remember that I actually have, I should find those, Dylan. I have like notebooks from when I was a kid. I should find those. My wife is like, she's like, you know, when you're doing these, you know, because, you know, obviously what I'm working on with it, she's like, you should probably not work out and like your wife beater or anything like that. I'm like, yeah. And, you know, I got my spray paint shirt on right now. All right, so I'm gonna do hammer curls, and I think I'll just do hammer curls, and then I'm gonna think about what I wanna do for triceps after that. Hammer curls, super underrated to curl up with this neutral grip. You get more of the brachioradialis and the brachialis muscle, which is under the bicep. But really it's just like, this is a functional, you know, picking things up, like your hands oftentimes are in that neutral position. I fell in love with hammer curls because of arm wrestling. When I was a kid, I used to like to arm wrestle, and when you're pulling, you're in this position here. So I would do them as a kid, and then I liked the way that they made my arms feel, so. Those are 50s. 50s. You know what that means? Doesn't mean anything. Means nothing. Don't brag about how much weight you can curl. I think I'm only gonna do 2 sets of these, and then I'll do, what should I do for my tricep? I know. I'll do close grip bench press for my triceps. So if you're wondering what the difference is between hormone replacement therapy and peptides versus natural, for me, keep in mind, I push the hormone replacement therapy as far as I can get it, as far as they'll let me, I should say. And before that, my testosterone was low. So there's a big contrast there, okay? So it's like low to like what my doctor will let me get away with. But the difference is about 18 pounds of lean body mass, maybe 20, and probably about 4% body fat. So I used to walk around probably 12-ish% body fat. Now it's like 9, maybe. I'm guessing, I haven't tested it. So that's the difference. So if you're wondering what the difference is between, because I was still working out, still doing all this stuff, still taking a lot of supplements. So if you're wondering what's the difference between low testosterone and what your doctor will allow you to get away with, plus peptides, that's it right there. For me, at least. Look at this mess. Who left the stuff on the floor? I did. Chuck also has an interesting relationship with fitness. He's talked to me about it. So that's also why I want him on. But really, he's so knowledgeable about scripture, and he's such a great guy. He's helped me a lot, so. But he's also a meathead. He's a bro, for sure. One of the best speakers. You know what's cool is I'm trying to get better at public speaking. On camera, I'm super comfortable, but in front of crowds, that's where I can get nervous. And the best public speakers, period, hands down, are pastors. And that's largely because they practice so much. Like they talk in front of crowds every week, multiple times. So over the years, they're just, nobody practices more than them when it comes to public speaking. That's it. We're done for today. What you got going on after this, Dylan? Okay. Let me check and see if I got to get home, but if right away, if not, you want to grab some breakfast?
Yeah.
All right.